during this webinar, I'm going to do a number of things. I'm going to take you through the course and show you some of the different units and what you need to do. I will also show you a little bit of my drama website, and if you have any questions, you're welcome to type them into the chat and I will do my very best to answer them. It is possible for people to also talk, but I have to enable that. So the best thing to do is to type any messages into the chat. So I'm going to type in David from Norwich here. If you feel like typing in where you are and your name, that would be good. Okay, so that I've got an idea of who's there and where you are. So I'm going to take us through to the course now. So I'm going to do that by sharing my browser. Let me just find this. And here we go. Hi, Tess, and welcome. That's great to see that you're here. And I should now be sharing my tab. That's it. So we are in the course, and let's just find out if you should be able to see that. Hi, Lucy from London. That's great to see you. So we've got 3 people here from the UK. I know that there's at least somebody else was around. So maybe when they get a chance to chat and message in, they will do. Well, I hope you've had a chance to access the course so far. And I can see that some people have, because if I go through the course now, let me just find it again. There we go. Let's go through to the green room. So this is a place where you can have a chat about anything, not just things related to the course. And it's very simple and straightforward. You just type messages into this chat box here. They will come up underneath and you can then start a conversation. So if you're wondering about any of the technical side of things, then you can have a look in the FAQs, and it shows you how to add a photo, how to use the Teachable app. If you feel like using that, you can use it on your phone. Okay, I'm just checking back in, see everything's working. Also, so that you can track your progress, mark a lesson as complete, and so forth. And you can do that in the app. You can also do it in the browser. That's why there are 2 different things going on there. One of the most important things, or a new addition for this time round with the course, is the course workbook. So you'll see that here in the introductory section where it says course workbook. You can kind of scroll through it on screen, but you can't use it until you download it. So if you scroll to the bottom of that page, you can then download the document and open it up in your computer. And this will mean that you can tick off where you are in a checkbox, and you can also type in notes into these boxes. So this is a really good way of tracking your progress through the course. If you like keeping notes and you like something to carry around with you when you're not online, then this is a great thing to have. You can, of course, just use it on your laptop or your device, or you can print it off, entirely up to you. So that kind of mirrors all the units that we'll be going through. It won't make complete sense until you've done the unit. So I haven't put all the details in here. And as you probably realize, each of the units will be released step by step. Okay, so any questions so far? Everything clear? And could you just type in that you can see my website and you can still see and hear me? A yes will do if you feel like typing that into the chat box. Okay. Yep, great stuff. Thank you, Tessa. And that's good to know, because I don't know if you've ever run a webinar, but it's quite a weird thing, especially if you can't hear people. So on this particular webinar, I can't hear people, but I can see the chats. So, all right then. So we're up to now, we have opened up, you're able to go to 10-second objects. That's already available. And as you realize, for each unit, there is a video to watch. And I've got my sound switched off here so that I don't get any echoing. But actually, that should work now. Let me just check. That should be working. If I turn my sound up on this computer and just play the video, just to see.
Should reassure you.
Yeah, so you should hear a little bit of that. I'm not going to play it to you right now, because obviously you can go ahead and play it for yourself. So once you've watched the video in the unit, then there's usually a bit of description, and there's an opportunity to type in some comments. And this is where it gets really interesting, because people are already starting to share ideas about what they're doing, about how they can use these approaches in their own teaching. Okay, so Unit 2 is now available, and in Unit 2, what we're doing is looking at freeze frames in particular. And a couple of people have already started that unit. What I've done throughout the course is to use extracts from my own teaching sessions. So you'll be able to see, let me just turn off the sound again for a moment. You'll be able to see me teaching these activities to different groups. And as I teach them, I'll also be explaining some tips about using them, and looking for ways in which you might be able to use these in your own teaching. So do watch the videos. You can also, by the way, download the videos. So if you can't see a download button, I will add it in, but there should be one there. For some reason there isn't on that one. Let's just have a look on another one, just to make sure. I'll have a look on the opening video just to see if we've got the download button. Yep. So I'm just going to make a note here, add download. So let's see, so add download for freeze frames video. Great, I'll fix that up after the webinar. All right then, so going back to where we were, at the moment you've got the opportunity to look at the freeze frames unit, and in virtually all of the units there is also a mini task for you to do. So in this one, what you do is share some ideas by typing them onto this kind of graffiti wall. So all you do here is you click on the wall and you start typing in my idea, and freeze frames could be good for, I don't know, looking at history of the Vikings, for example. And you then type that in, and you can just press enter to post it, or you can also add a photo. You can add a link to a website, and later on I'll show you what that looks like when you have added a link. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that comment, but don't be afraid to type your ideas in, and eventually this will look like a kind of graffiti wall with lots of different ideas. Now then, as we continue to go through each unit, there will also be downloads. So for freeze frames, there's a freeze frames PDF, no less. Hi, Steph, and welcome. Luckily, I am recording this webinar, so you haven't missed much, But if you want to watch the beginning or indeed all of it again, you'll be sent a link afterwards to do that. So don't worry if you've missed a little bit, but welcome. It's great to see you here. And I'll be keeping an eye on the comments just to see if anybody's got any questions, I should say. So thought tracking is going to be the next unit, and that will be available, I think, in 2 days' time. So each of these units becomes available over the next 3 weeks so that you can work through them. And the idea is that you can then focus on each unit and make comments. You can also read the tips and also do the mini tasks. So for example, in this one, which is all about thought tracking, I've got a YouTube video, and in this there are some examples of freeze frames. There's also some examples of thought tracking, and there are also some examples of some other drama approaches. So this is a video which is taking place with children in a British primary school, so it's really worth watching, and I've put in the times below so that you can jump to different sections to see the different activities, different drama ideas, and they're all tied into cross-curricular approaches ranging from sports to Tudor Times and The Hobbit. So as well as that, you'll also get some feedback from the teachers who teach these sessions. So it's quite useful to watch that. And you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can't download the YouTube video, unfortunately, because I don't own it. But you can watch it anytime you like on YouTube. And of course, this video and all the pages on this course will be available for the next 6 months. Jamal, I've just checked back into the comments, and hi, smiley face. Nice to see that you've joined us and that you've put something into the chat box. So keep it live. Do add any questions in as we go through if you're not sure. I'm not going to describe each of the drama strategies as we go through, unless you've got any particular questions, because obviously as you work through it, each of these will be described in detail, and you'll be able to find out more about them as we move through. So we've got action clip, we've got hot spotting, which is a little bit like hot seating, and again I've got a video demonstration from one of my courses so that you can see how it works. It's similar to hot seating, but it's done within the format of a freeze frame so that individuals are not having to speak on their own as a character. And I found that it works really well. So a lot of these techniques are quite well known. For example, freeze frames is probably the most well known of all drama techniques. But I've really looked at them from the point of view of how you can use them across the curriculum on this course. I do also do another course which is about using drama in language teaching, and I know I've got some language teachers on this course, and I always find that there's a bit of a crossover. But the great thing about these activities, excuse me, having a drink there, is that you can use them in lots of different ways. So you can use them for language teaching, you can use them in history, for literacy, for performance, and so on. So one of the things that I really like doing is adding music to freeze frames and to other drama techniques. So I've got a whole section here on using music. I've suggested some music that I like to play, and so you can listen to some of that as we go through the course. Let's see if that's going to play. Yeah. So I'm just going to leave that in the background for the moment. Maybe you can hear it. And then also I've got a video here from another course where I show you how you can use music to add a whole extra dimension to history and also to science. And then underneath that, I'm asking people to suggest their own music. And as you can see, we've got another one of these graffiti walls. They're officially called a Padlet because that's the company who supplies these. And as you can see, people from a previous course have already posted some ideas for music. But what's nice about it, as I mentioned before, is that you can type in your own idea and then you can add a URL. And when you add that URL, it then comes up as, let me just delete this one now, if I can, or move it out of the way. It then comes up as a link with an image so that you can suggest the music that you like and people can then click through to watch it. All right. I think I've remembered how to delete that. You just delete the trash can on the top there. Okay. So that's an example of how you can use those interactive Padlets. And what's also really nice is that as we go through it, a lot of people are teaching at the moment, and it's great when people get an opportunity to try these things out and then actually post some comments about how they've used them. Let's just have a look in the freeze frames. Now, here we go. So I'm just looking for the comments section. Here we go. So, for example, Monica, who's on the course at the moment, has written something about how she's used freeze frames with her students, and then she's uploaded a photo of her students as well. So this is a really great thing to do. If you're able to, and you feel like sharing pictures of how you've used these ideas, it's really helpful for the rest of us to see what you're doing. Otherwise, like Saeed here, you can just type in a description of what you've done. And please don't leave me to write all the comments. Please do reply to other people's ideas and comments. It's really nice when you get a bit of interaction going on between students. Okay, so moving on, I'm just going to, rather than look at each section, just talk briefly about some of them. So we've got some more units here, and all of these will be revealed over the next couple of weeks, as I've mentioned. You can see we've got action clip, we've got hot spotting, we've got some thoughts about evaluating freeze frames and the different aspects that you might focus on when you're talking to students about improving the way that they make freeze frames. For example, the use of facial expressions, physical gesture, symmetrical or asymmetrical shapes, and so forth. So that will be another download that will be available when you get to that unit. All right, we're going to be looking at Imaginarium, which is one of my favorite games, and again can be used for just about anything across the curriculum. Soundscapes are really good just for bringing in that oral sounds dimension to what you're doing. When we get to Unit 12, you will then have the opportunity to download some lesson plans. So I've shared with you plans that I've normally sell, and I'll be giving them away as part of this course. And those are using various techniques that I've introduced during the course, plus some extra ones. So you'll then see that these are really well planned, and they've got the timings for each technique. They've got the resources that you might use, such as some music, and even some suggestions of music that you could use. A book, the Funny Bones book, is quite useful for this one. If you don't have access to that, I've shared a link to YouTube where you can watch Bernard Cribbins, a famous British actor, reading that story in his own inimitable style. You do have access to the unit on the course assignment, because I thought you might like to start thinking about that in advance. And I need to change this date, actually. Let me make a note of that. That is not the date for the course assignment webinar, and I need to change that, so I will do. The actual date is going to be the 23rd of November. And in fact, if we look at the assignment webinar, sorry, the 23rd of November, yeah, is when we're going to have the next webinar. And in that webinar, I will take you through the assignment itself. And really, all it is a short lesson plan or unit plan. And the idea is to use at least 5 of the activities, or I put 4 here. Let's say at least 4 drama activities from the course, and to relate them to a text or a topic. And once you've done it, and you don't need to do that until at least 3 weeks' time, you then have details here for how to submit it. And again, I need to change the date there. That will be a December date, which will be in there. Okay, so that pretty much takes us through the course. I'm just going to check back. Does anybody have any questions about that, or is that all fairly clear? Good, no questions so far, but I'll keep an eye out just in case you think of any. In that case, what I'm going to do is to share another page in a moment, which will be my website. So let me just sort that out. I'm going to stop sharing that particular one, and then I'm going to go back to Chrome and share a different tab. Okay, here we go. So here we go. So now you should see coming up on your screen the drama resource web page, or at least some of it. And so I think it's quite useful for me to tell you a bit about my website. I know some of you will already be familiar with it, and some of you will know parts of it. For example, the drama game of the week, which is a very popular page on the site. So as you can see, there's a lot going on the website. There are drama downloads, which are the lesson plans, some of which, as I've already mentioned, like the Funny Bones drama and dance unit, you'll be getting a copy of that when you get to unit 12. Something about my books there, and latest posts. But so most popular page on the website is the drama games page, and this one here is a whole selection of games from my different books. You may not realize, but you can also filter these games. So for example, if you click on any of the filters at the top here, you'll be able to have a look at games which relate to particular skills, mime and movement, storytelling, and so forth. So this is a good way of focusing down on games that you might want to have a look at. Okay. Now, there's another section which is also very useful to you drama teachers, and that's drama strategies, sometimes known as drama techniques. So these are slightly different to drama games in that they usually take a bit longer. They usually involve a bit more thought, a bit more structure, and they can easily be applied to issues and themes across the curriculum. So let's have a look at one of these. Again, quite a well-known one, Conscience Alley, which is great, where you've got a decision that needs to be made, either in real life or by a character from a book or from history, for example. And with some of these drama structures, I've also strategies, I should say. I've got videos which again enable you to have a look at how they work. This one is an animated one, but there are also videos showing the drama strategies in action. Okay, so back to the drama strategies page there. And Jamal, you've just put in that you're from Iran. Great. Nice to know where people are from. We have got people from all over the world. I know we've got people from China, Hong Kong, Australia, to name some of the countries, and the USA. Unfortunately, they may not all be awake at this present time. Okay, so they'll be able to watch the webinar as a recording. Okay, one thing that I would like to highlight is the videos page. So if you go to resources on the Drama Resource website and go to videos, this is where I have curated a whole load of videos. Some of them are ones that I've made, but others are ones that I've just collected that I think are really good and really useful to drama teachers. And I've categorized these in different playlists. So if you click on the little hamburger menu there, as it's called, you'll be able to see the list of videos, or you can just start clicking on them just to start playing them and watching individual videos. Again, you can watch those if you want to on YouTube or within the website. So that's a really good place to look. I've also got my own YouTube page. So again, if you go to youtube.com/drama resource, you'll be able to watch the videos there, or even follow the channel if you want to be kept up to date when I add new videos. All right then. One page that I put a lot of time into and I hope is useful to people is the book review section. I love reading books on drama, and I've got to the stage now where publishers send me books for review, which is great. So although I still buy books, I get some sent to me for review, and I put them all up here. And again, you can focus in on particular themes just by clicking these tabs at the top, and it will show you books that relate to those particular themes. So for example, if you're looking at ideas for staging a play with young people, then any of these books would be really useful. If you're interested in acting in general, then maybe with adults as well as children, then these books could be really helpful. I've got a primary section and a secondary section. There's a section on Shakespeare as well. So really, you know, this is a great way to find out about books. And when I get the chance, I've got another book to review pretty soon, but I do upload them here, and it's a way for people to review the book before they decide to whether to buy it or not. Okay. Well, you all know about my courses, certainly my online ones, but I also run live courses, and you can find out all about those on the dramaresource.com/courses page. Next year, for the first time, I'll be running a 1-week course on the Greek island of Santorini, which I'm very much looking forward to. So this is a 1-week course. And what we'll be doing is looking at bringing lessons to life through drama techniques. So it's very much the kind of theme that we're looking at on this course, but done face-to-face and in a group. So if that's something that's of interest to you, please do have a look at this page and consider coming on our course next year. I'm sure it really will be a lot of fun. We're running it in May, which coincides with some schools having half term here in the UK. And we're also running it again in November. The dates 8th to the 14th of November, or 24th to the 30th of May. Okay, so coming back to the webinar and the course, I'm going to stop sharing that webpage for the moment, and just come back to you and ask once again if anybody has any questions about the course so far. It's the second time I've run it, and it's got to the point now where I'm slightly less stressed about it because I've had a chance to try it out. I had a pilot course back in February, and then I ran the course with about 30 people taking part in July. So I've had a chance to iron out a lot of the snags. I'm still finding them though. Found a couple today just during this webinar, which I'll get fixed. So I think that there aren't any questions forthcoming. Let me just check. No, don't think so. So I will be planning to end the webinar fairly soon because I've gone through everything that I need to go through. Let me just check to see. Just a reminder again that the assignment webinar will be taking place on Saturday, 23rd of November. It's on the website, and you're welcome to have a look at that and put it in your diary. Hopefully you can come along to it, and you can find out a lot more about the assignment. Oh yeah, I guess one of the things I could just share with you once more, let's just go through to the course page. Let me just find that. Yeah. So one of the great things that I'm going to be adding this time is other people's assignments. So in the course assignment section, of course, sorry to keep saying the word course, I didn't mean to do that, but we ran this in July, and it means that quite a few people uploaded their own lesson plans, and I've got permission from several of those to share their plans here on the website, for the course. So once you get through to this, to the course assignment, in a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to be uploading those other lesson plans as well. So there won't just be plans from myself, but there will be plans from other people too. And I think you're going to find those really useful. I'm always amazed by not only the fact that people come from places right across the world, but also that they had such varied backgrounds, and everybody brings their own ideas to the table. At any one time, people are working on such a variety of themes. So this will be something to look forward to. And another note for me to do is to upload those lesson plans so that we have an idea of the sorts of themes that you'll be able to pick up on from other people like yourself who have already taken part in the course. Okay, so one last chance to type in any questions that you may have. And so did everybody manage to follow what I've talked about? And was it all clear? Could you hear me? And was it working? If you could just type in an answer to that, it would be very helpful. Great. Thank you, Tess. Thank you, Steph. And Lucy, all working fine. Well, you know, that's good. And I'm not going to hang around anymore because I've covered pretty much everything I can think of. And if you have any questions afterwards, do fire them away to me through the course. You can do it through the green room, or you can reply to any of my emails. And I'm going to round it off and say goodbye, and look forward to connecting with you through the course and answering any questions, comments, sharing ideas as we go through. All right, so bye everybody, and see you all soon. Cheers, Tess. Bye, Steph. Bye, Lucy. And also bye to Jamal. And hello to everybody who's watching this as a recording. I'm sorry that you didn't get to watch it live, but I hope you found it useful. And that's it. I'm going to end the event.